and welcome to another educational video about screen printing by Catspit Productions. Thanks a lot for clicking on my video today. I truly appreciate your time and attention very much. If you like what you see, please consider doing business with me if you need screen printing equipment or supplies. So check out my offerings at catspitscreenprintsupply.com. Today, I want to do the poster video, and this was a really huge challenge for me because I haven't printed posters since like years ago. Like, I did a lot of poster printing when I was in college, taking screen printing classes in the School of Fine Arts along with my photography classes. And I used to love to do posters back then. We used to actually do posterizations or posterizations of our photographs, and so it was cool because I had access to the darkroom, and then I had access to the screen print shop, and it was really awesome. So when I set out to do this poster video, we're using a t-shirt press. This is a t-shirt press. T-shirt presses are not necessarily designed to do flat work. However, anything that is flat enough for you to get on any of the pallets or a vacuum pallet like we're going to show you today, and I did do a video about the vacuum pallet previously to show you what it looks like, but today we have a vacuum pallet on the press. Okay, so it's basically a special pallet that's kind of like the top of one of those hockey puck tables, those little hockey game tables where you have the little round paddle and then the skinny puck that slides across the table, and in the table there's a whole bunch of holes, right? Well, on those tables the air is pushed up to allow for the disc to float on the air. Well, on a vacuum table the air is sucked in through those holes. So whenever you put a piece of paper on it, it's going to slap down to the vacuum table or the vacuum pallet, and it's going to stay put. So all you have to do is basically you're going to line up your screen to the pallet, okay, and basically like I did, and I used my film positive, and I used a piece of paper to kind of see where it was, and then I also used some cardboard tabs on the edges. I used 3 tabs so that I could put the piece of paper in the tab and then print, okay? And it was really kind of, it was pretty amazing that, as experienced as I am, just having the cameras on was like making me stupid because and you might notice this if I edit them in, we'll see what good parts we have of the printing, but sometimes I forgot to back flood. Then a couple times I forgot to step on the foot pedal and turn on the vacuum. And it wasn't because, it was because I was self-aware that I'm being recorded and I'm trying to like do it the best way I can so you get the best education. And as a result, it distracts me. I don't know. And I was just, it was funny. It was kind of funny. All right, so let's take a look at some of the setup and the printing and what the posters actually turned out to look like, because what I actually had to do, and this one's actually not bad. I had to use a little bit of extra retarder to be able to do this video with everything that I had to do. I just couldn't let the ink dry. So as a result, my ink is not as black as it should be, which, maybe you might say, it looks cool, but, honestly, I think if it were the rich black poster black ink, it would look a lot better. Okay, so keep that in mind that I did dilute the heck out of my black ink so that it would stay really, really wet during the printing, and I wouldn't have to worry about those couple times I didn't back flood and stuff like that, because it was just, the printing that you're going to see today is actually from the second attempt of printing. The first time I tried the ink straight and it just dried. I had to clean the screen out and it was a nightmare. So, depending on what type of poster ink you're using, you may have to add retarder in order to make it easier for you to work with, okay? So that's the deal. The pieces of poster get put down in here like this, and then we screen print them. So let's take a look at that scenario and that process. Okay, so here we're gonna set up the screen to the pallet. And so what you have to do is you have to line up the screen to the pallet in such a way that you're going to be able to put your little cardboard pieces and be able to put the piece of paper on the pallet and then have the screen come down onto the piece of paper, and your print will be straight and centered and in the correct position, right? Okay, so that's what I'm doing here, and I'm getting ready to put the cardboard tabs right now. So I'm cutting little pieces of cardboard, and then I am adjusting them, you know, putting them on there with some masking tape, and then I will make some adjustments. So you can see I use 3. That's all you need. 2 on the long side and 1 on the short side on the bottom. Okay, and then I am going to check the positioning, sorry. And that's it. So I go through a few little checks and just make sure that everything is in proper order. And this is really where you want to make sure you take your time, because you don't want to ink up the screen and then print one and it's all crooked and have to try to fix that. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm checking for the exact position that I want, and I'm readjusting the pieces of cardboard as needed to make sure that the poster paper will be centered with the art. And it can take a little fussing, as you can see. Here I am moving around a couple times. I had to use a piece of tape to keep the paper still. Then I used a ruler, to the edge of the paper, and really just trying to make sure it's right the first time, because it's not worth having to do over again, especially after you ink up. Okay, so that's it. That's what this is, double checking, and it's good to go. There's the tabs close up, as you can see. 1 on the side, 1 on the bottom. There's actually 2 on the sides, so there's the second one higher up. That's how it's taped on. Here's my first test print. And I really had to water down, so to speak, the ink with some retarder. It's a poster ink. I added a lot of retarder, so it lost a little bit of the blackness. But I had to do that because it was really difficult to, do this video with the poster ink, straight out of the can. So it was really thin. It laid on there pretty thick, and then when it dried, it got flat, and a little more gray, actually, as it absorbed into the paper. But it looked pretty good, actually, not bad at all. And here you can see I'm back flooding, okay, using the vacuum pallet. You step on the pedal, and it holds the paper down, and then we do the print. And you have to pull it off, and I had nowhere to place all of these things, so I was just winging it, putting stuff anywhere I could. If you're doing posters, you want to make sure that you either have a poster rack, or maybe a big table, or have it planned out where you're going to put these things, or have somebody help you, because you really shouldn't do posters like this all by yourself. Somebody taking the poster away while you load the new one to print is actually a better idea, if that's at all possible. Okay, so that's it. A few more prints here, and then let's take a look at what we have. Alright, so that's what the poster looks like from, full shot. It's on the vacuum table. That's a full shot, and the halftone worked out pretty good, so let's take a closer look. Okay, so here's a little bit closer look at some of the halftones in the body and the side, and overall it came out well and not too bad. I haven't done posters in so long, so it was pretty cool. Here's a little bit closer shot up in the corners. Remember when we looked at making these screens, because I have a video about making these screens, and that's the halftone dot that we got that originally didn't come out on the first screen I made. So there it is. Here's a close-up shot of the snow leopard's head, and you can see all of the detail in the eyes, and pretty cool. You know, like the halftone turned out pretty well. In this shot, there's a lot of white in the camera, so it actually looks pretty black, which this one may. I did a few prints. We had a few prints that came out pretty well, and one of them was a little blacker than the other, so to speak, depending on the amount of ink that I printed on the paper. Here's another shot of a very black one. As you can see, you know, I guess it didn't get that gray. As you can see, you know, it's pretty black still, but there was a lot of retarder in there, so it didn't have that nice, flat, rich, black poster ink that, you know, look that it should have. So after doing all the printing and examining my prints, the halftone came out very well, but I did notice there was a couple of anomalies, and one anomaly kept happening while I was printing, and I really couldn't figure out what was going on. Maybe it was my squeegee, or perhaps it had something to do with the different levels of strength in both of my arms right now because of my shoulder surgery. I don't know. But it was one word, this word emulsion over here. Just the one word seemed to blur out a little bit, and none of the other words or any of the halftone over here, just that one word. So that was an interesting thing, and the other thing is that in the first few initial prints that the halftone seemed perfect, and then as I printed, I noticed there was a couple of things up here over near his left ear that maybe are not in the film positive, because there is some snow kicking up, you know, so there are some white dots that you'll see here and there, which is snow kicking up because he's running in the snow, right? But up here, up by his head, and you could probably see this in the close-ups, you know, I think that occurred over the print run, and that may have been something, you know, it was something drying, some ink drying in this one area for some reason and causing some little white spots. But other than that, you know, it came out pretty well, and I actually like this design a lot, that I think I'm going to print it on a t-shirt, even though it's very square and very poster-like. I think it's still kind of a really cool design with the halftone, and I'm going to probably print it on some gray shirts, you know, so it'll be a black ink on some gray t-shirts, and we'll slap these on the back of a few shirts just for the heck of it, you know. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was informational in some way for you. I hope you learned something from this video, and please remember, if you like my videos, you enjoy my work, and you enjoy my style, maybe you know, you don't mind me talking so much, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate it, and your support is very important to me. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.